All right, so yesterday I came up here to check it out because we had some hail damage, a lot of hail. Where we at was maybe golf ball size, and the people on the far side of us, they had golf ball size. So luckily I came up here and nothing was busted, thank goodness. But you can tell we've got a lot of mud here, but with me mulching and stuff on it and it being up high, we should be all right. We'll get these warmed up. We got until the end of the day today to be finished, because I'd come over here every day after work, working almost 12 hours a day, and mulch for at least a couple hours or excavate for a couple hours to help me out. So we got a lot of rocks. You can see these knives, see it's pretty wet. We've had a lot of rain in the morning, afternoons, and it would rain several hours in the morning, be cloudy around lunchtime, and then it would do the same thing the next day. So it's hard to dry out when it's just constantly raining. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up around these trees where they're mounded up, make sure I'm not missing any chunks. So I've pushed a pretty good bit, but we got people over around the pad area doing something. I don't like recording in front of people. But anyway, you can see how muddy it is. It's starting to warm up. So I was able to push, but there's a lot of rock. So I got the excavator, got the bucket. So I'm gonna have to mulch everything up, rip out some of these, cut some of it out. So we're gonna be pushing it because we got so many piles to push around. And then I started coming back here on this lower side. Kind of getting what I can get. But there's a lot of dirt mounds where they pushed up a bunch of trees. So this ain't my finish here, but we'll be able to come in here and knock some of it down, kind of level some of these little spots while we're here with the bucket. So there's a bunch of trees growing there, so I laid them over. That way when I grab them, it'll rip up the roots and the stumps as well. But I was able to get the whole perimeter down here. This is where they wanted to end, and then with this, so I might get the excavator and rip out some of it, kind of blade it and level it, because there's a bunch of dirt mounds on this lower side. So all we lack is just this little thicket right here. You can kind of see, you know, that little spot right there. We got just a little bit. Once I start ripping out these trees and then kind of windrowing the chunks, I can come in and kind of clean up all this other scragglies. All right, so since I left the skid steer and the GoPro right in the sun, this thing's blazing hot. But I got the excavator over there, ripped up all this stuff. I probably shouldn't be parked that close, but the way I'm going to be mulching is this way, so it should be good. But I got a bunch of stuff windrowed all the way through there, got everything ripped down, except for the dirt mound. So I'm gonna go in, mulch everything I can, and then come back and just fluff everything back up, and then mulch it and rip up what's left, and then push the not chunks, but the dirt mounds level, and then remulch everything up on top of the dirt mound spread. So yep, got a couple more hours left right here, and then we'll be getting the stuff behind us over here, all this little brush and dozer piles. So it's getting hot now. So I gotta grab the excavator and rake up a little bit. There we go. Rake up a little bit of the stuff and then push that dirt and rocks down in that hole and then trim up with a chainsaw. And then get over here with the excavator and rake it off the dirt mounds. Mulch the lower side up and rip up a few more trees. But other than that, we're just about done. And should be able to hit that little small area, and then the other one's the biggest one, but I got to mulch at the front and top up there. So other than going back and pulling the chunks out and cleaning up in between the trees, we should be pushing it for time. So that's it. All right, so that last clip I done, I got called in for a storm in Auburn, Alabama. So I have to go since I'm the mechanic, so I have to stop what I'm doing and go. So I barely made it there in time, so I had to move the machines, blah blah blah, this and that, get to the house to get my truck, and then go from there. So this is why I'm just gonna let that. We'll go ahead and get the machines running real quick, and I need a chainsaw. I don't want to have to run back and forth, but we'll show you what we did shortly before we left. Before jumping in the machine, making all kinds of noise, trying to have to yell at you. So I'm not sure what I showed before I left, but the customer came yesterday, and I told him just let me know what else you want done. So I'm gonna got the chainsaw. I'm gonna kind of cut these up where it's a little higher. I tried to break them off, but didn't want to break the tree up. But got some piles put up, and since I got down here, I was gonna go with the chainsaw, and then since I had the piles, go ahead and chainsaw everything up high so that way it'll look good. And that didn't work out too well, because I literally started tracking over there, and then I was gonna come back to the machine. As soon as I got the machine, I got a phone call. So but there's a few trees up there towards the house on that front side they want ripped up, mulched up as well my remainder of the time. So I got a bunch of rocks right here is the reason why there's some patches, but it's also dirt. So I was going to rip up these little rocks right here that are about that size, throw them up on the upper side, and then blade the rest of this where it's semi-smooth. And then I'd like to mulch this up, but my knives, I don't know what this is, but I will tell you one thing: if you don't have sharp knives, even with sharp knives, it beats the machine up. So I'll just trim that up a little bit. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get the machines warmed up and get it greased up real quick, and let them warm up. While they're warming up, go ahead and chainsaw everything, throw them in piles, and then I like another probably about 35 minutes of mulching the piles, and then kind of see where it rutted out and stuff. I can come back and sling the mulch where it needs to go to make it look a little smoother. So right now it looks a little rough because it was wet the day I mulched, so no big deal there. So the sun's coming out. It's had enough time yesterday when I left, and yeah, yesterday and then day before yesterday. So today's Sunday, so we had to be on storm for a couple days. But anyway, let's it's all these bugs in here. Let's see what we can get started on. been in there for an hour and a half. Whew. So this is the last little remainder. They was, I should have showed, I don't know if I did or not, but I had 2 or 3 trees right up here along the side. It looked like it was a bunch of bundles of them, but it was real thick of leaves and stuff. So I told them this would look a lot better mulched right here, so they're gonna have me come out do that next time. But I got to get these chunks right here. So since the knives ain't sharp and they're about gone, it's not wanting to cut like it should. So I ain't been able to do any tripod setups, so I'm gonna do some real quick, and then we got to go over here and mulch that lower side, and then we got this. So she's wanting to leave me, or wants me to leave a couple right here. So I got less than an hour left to finish my time out. So looks pretty good. I think I'm about ready to go ahead and pull the trigger on a big dedicated, because I can come in here in one day and mulch everything up, but I'll be limited to like stuff like this, getting in between that. So but I may try to go down here, and if I can get this mulched up pretty quickly. And then this right here, which it's dozer pile, so there's some big rocks over there, so I'm not sure how it's gonna look, if it's gonna look good or not. But I may come in and try to thin it out, because you can see I left about 4 or 5 pines right there. I could probably go ahead and mulch them up to kind of make it more open right through here. That's probably what I'll do. But anyway, I'm gonna go and find all the chunks, bring them all up here, and mulch them up a little bit. That way it'll look a little better. So that's what we got. Of course, I got some like in between here where it's dipped, a couple spots where I can't get in mulch, so I'll cut everything around it and then throw it in the pile and mulch it as well. So, but this is all the main part that they wanted. That way when they build their house, they just done the footers when I left Friday. Yeah, was it Friday? I don't know, I can't remember work so much. But anyway, so that way the house is turned, that way they'll have this view down through here, so, and the pond view. So got everything cleaned up, chopped up that I could get. I need to get me another pole saw in. I haven't took it apart yet, it's messed up. But this is what I was able to get done with what they wanted. A lot of hardwoods, a lot of rocks. You can see mounds. Literally I tried to put them around the trees where I couldn't mulch around. But the customers are super happy with it. But they'll eventually have me to start pushing on that lower side. They have a lot of turkey. This morning I seen 5 or 6 of them close by, so that's real nice. And then has a nice little pond once it gets bush hogged down. So but we got everything mulched up, got around the trees, bladed best way we could. So tried to push back a little bit. So done what I could. Now we're going to go ahead and start mulching that lower side. I had my dad start on it before the track assembly decided to grenade. Still doing pretty good. Newest thing on this machine. But we'll go ahead and start mulching that, and then we'll start working our way over here on this side. It's got a lot of rocks, so we'll have to mulch what we can and then just push them around. So this looks pretty good. Really a toothpick finish. Real clean. And then most of my customers will box blade, and then when I come back through, it looks just as good as like it's been mowed for years. So this one's where they pushed up, they started growing out of the mound of dirt. So this is a big mound. You can't really tell, but it's mounded right here. So, but this used to be old field row. All right, so I got everything mulched up, cleaned up, and got the machines pulled up here, trying to double check everything and just making sure I got everything cut. But everything's looking pretty good. This is a nice stake part look to it. I got all the ones that they spray painted for me to clear out. I wish I had a bigger one and a big dedicated, we're ripping them up and mulch them up, but I'm doing what I can. So going almost 4 years in doing land clearing and mulching and excavation. So this one turned out really good, even with the mounds of rocks, boulders, and it's really rocky terrain. So some spots I wasn't able to really get in there and clean it, but I had to rip them out and then try to go back in there and mulch it, and then kind of blade it a little bit where I can get in there and at least scrub it ground level. All right, so I had to use the excavator. Got some of these big rocks right here. There's some big ones. I got them from this lower side. I went down there with a mulcher, and once I was like, well, I need to get out and look before I spoil the mulcher up. Good thing I did. Try to give them a little pathway to walk down here until they get a bush hog. This stuff's thick. So my dad cleared the front side the first day. He ripped it up. There's a bunch of rocks. So since I had the excavator over there, I said, well, let's go ahead and start, pushing it up and stuff. So the customer, his wife wanted this, so I left it. I tried to rip up some of the beaver. The beaver had a bunch of stump ends down here where he dropped the logs. So you can see one right there. But they had them all down through here, mulched them up. Well, I was going to mulch them up, but I ended up taking them all right here at this lower spot. There's a bunch of debris right there. So I trying to blade around this so that way if they have a tractor or something else or have me come back, then they can have it cleaned up a little better. So got a bunch of rocks for some decorations and stuff like that, but I run out of time. But I done this on my free time just to help them out a little bit, so because the house is right there, so from there over, that way they didn't have to look at all this other junk. So I didn't think about that. I didn't look until I done loaded up, seen that one, or I ripped it up, so that way they don't get hit in the head with it. But that's it on this one. And then that one, all I did was a bunch of saplings ripped up and this is where they pushed up with a dozer pile. So, but that is it. So we're going to get the machines back to the house, get them cleaned up, because it's rained. We'd mulch a little bit, or I'd have, and it would rain. I'd come back the next day to mulch a little bit, and it'd rain again. So the machine's fully packed of mulch and dust, so we got to get it cleaned out. So if you could, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.